Guys, today we're looking at the partial product strategy, and before we start talking about the ins and the outs of how to do the actual strategy, let's just break down why it's called that. Keep in mind that the answer of any multiplication problem is called the product. So for instance, the product of 3 multiplied by 4 is 12, the product of 6 multiplied by 6 is 36. So that's what we mean when we talk about the product. The partial part, well, that shares a lot of similarities with the word partition. And remember, partitioning is a strategy that we look at in maths, which is breaking down our maths into easier to do chunks. Partial obviously means a part of. So when we partition or when we do the partial product strategy, we do a part of a problem at a time. So let's look at one such as 3 multiplied by 64. In this, to use the partial product strategy, we would first multiply the tens and then multiply the ones. So this setting out that they do in our Stepping Stones book is really, really good to do. Obviously in this box, this is where we would show our tens, and it takes up a lot more area than if we multiplied our ones. And we set it up like this. We put the 3 over here, and then we break this down into our partials that we're going to multiply. So I'm going to put it in my 60, which is my tens, and 4, which is my ones. And then we just write number sentences. So we would do 3 multiplied by 60 equals, and 3 multiplied by 4 equals. 3 multiplied by 60 is really easy to do off the top of my head. I can ignore that 0 in the 60 for a little bit, and I know that 3 multiplied by 6 is 18, and then I add on that 0 that I ignored. So 3 multiplied by 60 is 180. Down in our ones, we've got 3 multiplied by 4, that is 12. Then I can add these together. They're my two partial products, and I would get 192. Sometimes you can even write the partial products inside of your working out. So you could write 3 multiplied by 60 is 180, 3 multiplied by 4 is 12, and you could add those two together to get the answer to 3 multiplied by 64, which is 192. Like I said, if you know your basic multiplication facts, you will find a lot of this very simple. Remember though, we are looking at the partial product strategy. We're not looking for, do you know 3 multiplied by 64? We're looking for, do you know how to use the partial product strategy to solve simple problems like this?